PvP in Final Fantasy XIV is the flavor of the patch, and just like probably everyone else, I've been tapping into it. At first, I approached it with cautious optimism, knowing that I shouldn't expect some epic PvP experience, as that's just not what Final Fantasy XIV has historically been about. After tons of crystalline matches, however, I realized just how wrong I was, as I'm completely and hopelessly addicted to it. So I decided to record this video and just share some thoughts on what I've been enjoying in particular, some things I'm a bit concerned about, and my overall PvP experience lately. What I enjoy most about the Crystalline Conflict is just how easy it is to learn the rules and understand the mode fully, without having to lose tons of matches just to get familiar with some intricate details like what the glowing crystals are, which maps are capture the flag ones, and so on. Crystalline is so perfectly friendly towards new players who want to give PvP a try, it's insane, and it literally takes a few minutes to understand what's going on, making it very easy to get into, even for a community that's been largely oriented towards PvE. Another great thing about Crystalline is the lack of high stakes feeling as you're entering the mode. The queues are short enough for you to feel okay even with losing, knowing you can just queue again if you so choose, and you don't feel like you wasted a bunch of time. The fact that matches are so short makes it super engaging, and even when you're on the losing side, you still find yourself fighting, as it only takes a few seconds sometimes for the game to turn completely. Everything just happens so fast, you can find yourself queuing, not really know what time it is, when you need to get up and go to work tomorrow, and not really caring if you'll be getting about 2 hours of sleep overall. The fact that they tied the release of a cool new mode along with a long-term grind event like GARO is one of the best things the devs could have done to ensure everyone at least taps into PvP, in my opinion. Considering just how many wins you need to unlock all the achievements and mounts, it creates a big incentive to work towards a goal that isn't something most people obtain during, let's say, one weekend. Getting all those wins takes quite a while, just enough for you to get totally hooked on PvP, forgetting that you're in fact grinding those mounts. Oh, and in case you're new to the whole GARO thing and you have no idea what I'm talking about, check out the guide in the pinned comment and you'll know how to start participating in the event in no time. I was also pleasantly surprised with how little it matters whether you're queuing as a tank, DPS, or a healer. While there are tiers and you can definitely pick the right job, like White Mage or Warrior, the fact that everyone gets some sort of healing and crowd control tools is such a beautifully done feature. I've been loving the PvP job reworks, as they've made it so easy to play all sorts of jobs in PvP, even the ones I admittedly haven't even leveled yet. Even though they differ from PvE quite a bit, I'd go as far as to say that if you're anxious about playing a certain job, getting into it as a PvP player could potentially teach you the basics of the job, get you familiar with the job's flow, and potentially encourage you to pick it up. And there's just something strangely addicting about the whole battle pass system. It's such a minor yet significant feature that appeals to everyone who enjoys grinding, and that's probably most MMORPG players. The satisfaction of leveling series and getting those next 1k crystals or other rewards like emotes and glam is one of the most fulfilling feelings I've had in Final Fantasy XIV in a while. You just can't help it, you just want to get that next one and you're ready to go ahead and sacrifice your sleep and everything that comes with it just to get it. It's insane. So with all these cool things being introduced, it would make sense for the dev team to be like, okay, you guys have to check this out. But no, PvP is still a standalone feature that doesn't make you do it for the sake of in-game progress, which is just wonderful. I love seeing the confidence to create a mode and just know it's going to do well, without tying it to some pointless mandatory system in order to progress your main character. And if you're an FF14 only player who's never stepped into, let's say, WoW, me even stating this very obvious thing may not make sense to you. But if you have played WoW and you have experienced, let's say, Torghast and the Soul Ash grind for your legendaries, you know what I'm talking about all too well. I'm just happy and excited that FF14 is retaining the attitude of all the features being non-mandatory, standalone, and therefore potentially fun to engage with. There are some things I'm a bit unhappy with, however, and not being able to queue with a friend is definitely one of them. I understand that this is a massive feature, and it's definitely something that would go against the spirit of Crystalline Conflict the way it is now, but it would still be nice to feel less alone when queuing. I mean, of course, you can still get on Discord with your friends and queue into some matches while talking, but whenever you comment on something that happened in your match and the other person is like, what are you talking about? It's just a little disheartening. I understand that party queues is probably not something they'll ever introduce into Crystalline as we know it, but it would be cool, at least in the casual mode, where it wouldn't be considered as completely unfair to the other team. Another thing is not as tied to the game system as it is about the community. Now, I'll be honest, I think the fact that people figured out how to take advantage of the adventure plates to create those sketchy images is a little bit comical. I mean, yes, it's distasteful and disrespectful and probably had zero devs entertained by it, but for as long as no additional add-ons have been used and people understood they were doing it at the risk of getting their accounts banned, what can you do? The ability to create something like that was within the game after all, although it's definitely not something I'd feel comfortable doing or seeing when I queue into a match, especially when I have my toddler looking over my shoulder and asking me why cats look the way they look on those plates. I mean, how do you even get into explaining that? Also, cheating, using add-ons, bots, and fishy macros is something I could see happening, but I'm honestly really disappointed that it did happen. I mean, honestly, I don't even want to get into how unfair it is to use add-ons and queue into a match with someone who's playing on a console and doesn't even have access to them. The point of PvP is for us to face other people as equals and win based on our own skills, time investment, improvement, and efforts. Winning with a bot and thinking your bragging rights about getting to crystal rank are the same as other people's who got there fairly is just ridiculous. I hope the dev team takes this very seriously and makes an example out of what happens when you cheat in PvP, as I would hate seeing a great in-game mode destroyed by behavior like this. Not cool. But yeah, overall these are my thoughts when it comes to the revamped PvP and Crystalline Conflict. Have you been playing PvP in Final Fantasy XIV, and what are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, now's a good time to press that sub button too. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so here as a YouTube channel member or over on Patreon, and if this video was in any way, shape, or form useful or entertaining to you and you'd like to leave a tip, you can do so through YouTube thanks just under this video. Thanks to everyone who's keeping the lights on, especially our alphas like Kathy Spear on YouTube memberships, as well as Andyman and Elijah Baker over on Patreon. Anyway, I'm off to queue some PvP, and honestly, you should too. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.